Alright then, so my thoughts on Star Trek Into Darkness. This one I did see on opening day, which gives you an indication compared to I Manus how much I was looking forward to this film. Saw it opening day last Thursday when it was released over here in the UK, although I did want to wait to release this video so I could talk about spoilers and things like that. I wanted to wait to release it till today, because of course today is when it gets released in America, and I can go ahead and talk about spoilerific stuff without having half of you have to turn it off halfway through, or a quarter of the way through, or whatever it ends up being. So I'll go ahead and do the non-spoiler stuff first. Okay, so what did I think of the film overall? I loved it. And I think that my reaction is indicative of the reaction of the world, it seems, at this point. To me, from what I've seen, Star Trek fans seem to like this one a lot more than the original, or at least as much as the original, whereas it seems like other people, general audiences, or just film critics or whatever it happens to be, seem to be a little more tepid on this one. No one says it's outright bad for the most part. I just think the Trek fans enjoy this one a little bit more because it seemed to me that this movie was far more Star Trek than the original one. The last one had a lot of Star Wars in it, whereas this one had a lot of references to Star Trek material. It was directly going out of its way to sort of evoke the original canon and play with expectations of Star Trek fans. Of course, when you get to that end part where they're doing the mirror part, which I'll get to in a second, obviously they knew what they were doing. They were playing with fans' expectations and throwing in a lot of things in there for fans, as opposed to just kind of, in the original movie, there was a lot of stuff that was just there that was sort of pop culture stuff. Like, everybody knows a Vulcan, everybody knows the Vulcan hand symbol, everybody knows a Tribble, that kind of thing. Whereas in this one, they're referencing Section 31, they're referencing Carol Marcus, they're referencing, at one point there was a Harry Mudd reference. You know, things like that just make Trek fans far more happy, even though there is a point where maybe that alienates general audiences more, but I don't think it ruins the movie if you don't get any of those references. They're just in there for fan service, you know? I thought all the lead actors did an amazing job. I thought Chris Pine is superb as Kirk this go round. I thought he was always superb, obviously. I think he's a better Kirk than Shatner, simply because Shatner may be iconic, but he's Shatner. I thought the Carl Urban did a great job of McCoy. I thought the heart and soul of the film was, of course, Zachary Quinto's Spock. I thought that Benedict Cumberbatch did a superb job as the villain, which we will get into in a second. I enjoyed almost everything in this movie. Obviously, it was still very sort of surface, very action-y, not very intelligent, but it did deal with more consequences and more themes that were more in line with the original canon and the original values of Star Trek. It had more of a soul, it seems, this time, as opposed to the last one, where it was just a good, fun action romp where you love the characters. The one major thing I will say is that last time, people complained that the plot, including me, the plot was not that good, the villain was not that good, it wasn't very fleshed out. This time they completely addressed that, and this time they give us a well fleshed out villain with a well thought out plot. The plot at least makes sense, as opposed to just these random events that you're just supposed to go along with. So that's my thoughts in a nutshell. If you're a Star Trek fan, go and see this movie. You will love it, for the most part. If you're not a Star Trek fan, go and see it. It's a great action movie. It works on all levels for sci-fi and action movie fans.